What up, what up, what up, what up? How you doing? Today is gonna be a funny topic, and it comes from a few things. I live out in an area of Massachusetts that's just predominantly white, and I've lived that way all my life. Um, and I deal with white folks all the time, and I personally don't have a problem with white folks, but there are things that white folks do that are funny. And I just want to point this out to kind of start a dialogue. If it's going to start a little trouble, start a little trouble. So the reason I'm going through this is not just because of where I live, but I have a friend of mine who told me that she has a friend. Now, my friend is black. She has a friend who's white, who's a teacher. And she was giving her, she was talking to her about the kitchen. Now, some black folks know this, some black women know this, but the back area of your neck where the hair grows is considered the kitchen. You'd see that in Martin. He talk about, the kitchen. Okay. And she made a comment about the kitchen in front of this white woman. The white woman saw it. Later, she's in school. She's a teacher. And she makes a remark about a particular student's kitchen. And the student went stone off on the teacher, ready to kill her and have her fired and have her job. And the thing is, the teacher thought that it was cool to talk about that because of her black friend. And that's the kind of stuff that we're going to cover right now. See, the funny thing about that is, can you be mad at that? Because that's the true definition of ignorance. You're ignoring facts, okay? Certain things that black folks do, white folks can't talk about, and vice versa. It ain't just us, and vice versa. But it becomes a bigger thing when black folks do it because we make such a big noise out of it, whether it's protesting or putting it on Facebook or, Instagram or whatever. We make a bigger deal out of it than white people do. White people like to brush shit off, all right? But I just thought that was an interesting story. And it brought me back to a point where I had this white friend who brought me over to a friend of his friend's house. And we were drinking and eating. They were making guacamole in front of me. And I was just learning some things. And there was a book that I noticed amongst his collection of books that was called Stuff White People Like. Looks just like this. Thought it was rather interesting. Went through the book, and the book was basically each page had what white people like. And it was funny because a lot of it like really hit home. Stuff like, wearing flannel, going outdoors, things of that nature. So I wanted to talk about that, and I went ahead and I looked it up, and it turns out that there's a site about that as well. Let me show you. So I'm here on this site called stuffwhitepeoplelike.com. And according to this, there's 136 different things that white people like. My So-Called Life, Bob Marley, ugly sweater parties, black music that black people don't listen to anymore, being offended, St. Patrick's Day, having gay friends, outdoor performance clothes. Just a whole lot of different things, man. Most deaf. That's kind of funny because I don't think that's the truth now. Let me see, Whole Foods, Apple products, Arrested Development, 80s night, snowboarding, microbreweries. But here's the one thing right here that I want to target. This one, having black friends, which is what we're covering. All right. Here we go right here. Here's the breakdown. Yep, 2008. All right, here's the breakdown. So here we have some very important things, and I advise you to go to stuffwhitepeoplelike.com to break this down. But one thing that this article is saying is counting the number of black friends is clearly a divine imperative. The number of black friends white people possess also illustrates their comfort with black culture. Here's a handy guide to the number system. So you have the white novice. This black friend is the gateway to helping white people understand gang signs in Vietnamese beauty supply stores. 2, the white black club goer. I'm sorry. Two black friends serve as bodyguards when white people go to black clubs to see how exactly one pops, drops, and lock there. Now, I'm going to have to make a correction on that because it's not just going to black clubs. See, all these things I've experienced. 3 to 4, the white BET tier. That has to do with, you know, white artists doing black music. And then it says 5 and up. Having five and more friends is just impossible. I just think that part is funny, so I ain't gonna build on it. I just think it's funny. What the fuck? Anyway, so let's talk about this. Now, I've been that one black friend to a lot of different white folks, and actually experienced this all my life, even in school, where I'm in school in classes that are predominantly white, and I'm the cool guy. You know what I mean? And then I've been in situations where I'm with a friend of mine who happens to be black, and we're out with some white folks, and we go to a club, and everybody thinks that we're going to be the bodyguards, or it kind of gives them street cred. You know, typically without us, they would just be regular white folks. But then when they're around us, they figure that they can say certain things, act a certain way, have a certain swag because they're with us, and everybody else is looking at that as cool. And the thing is, that's not cool. That's some bullshit. This is that bullshit. That is some bullshit. All right, because the thing we're people nonetheless, and I do enjoy white people stuff just as much as I enjoy black people stuff, Asian folk stuff, Indian people stuff. I enjoy all of that stuff. You know what I mean? But I think I know the reason I'm doing this video is to get you to understand ignorance is ignorance. And as a person who's being the target of ignorance, you have to understand the person that you're dealing with to see if it's ignorance. All right. Overall, it is, because again, it's ignoring the facts. But why should I be mad at a white person who thinks black people are what they see on TV? Because there's no black people in their neighborhood at all. You know what I mean? There's no need for me to whoop your ass as a white person because you're saying something ignorant because you don't know any better. Now, if you live next door to me, that's a different story. If you're being malicious with it, that's a different story. And you know when you're being malicious with it. But for the most part, you have to find a common balance. Let's just love each other. Can't we all get along?
I just want to say, you know, can we all get along? Can we get along?
I didn't want to make this too long of a topic, but I do want to make it a discussion that doesn't have to end. Feel free to comment below. And also, I have a show called the InkyMann Show that comes on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 6 p.m. on YouTube. Y'all be good. Later. Yeah, make sure to follow me on Snapchat. Snap the photo, take down my name, whatever works better for you.